For our first park in Montana, we got to work at Lewis and Clark Cavern State Park, and it's a really big park with some really cool features. We first started work by training with our main sponsor, and he taught us some basics of trail work, where we learned how to cut in some trail. We also learned how to put in water bars to help prevent erosion of those trails, and along with other basic trail work, we learned how to help properly maintain our tools by putting them in a tool burrito. And that way, when we're traveling across the country, or in this case just Montana, our tools will be safe and properly taken care of. A lot of the work we did in Lewis and Clark was trail maintenance. We also did some of that work in the Missouri Headwater State Park, where there we kind of were working to disassemble trails that the public had created of their own accord. These trails cause a lot of erosion through the park, and it causes a lot of problems for the parks, and makes it to where visitors can't enjoy them the way they're supposed to be enjoyed. So some of the work we did was just by revegetating these areas and helping to try and put up signage so that people stop using them and instead use the trails that they're supposed to be on. While we were in Lewis and Clark Caverns, we actually had the opportunity to go in the caverns and get a tour. We were the first tour to go through the caverns since 2019 because of COVID, and it was a really cool experience for all of us and a great SLI event. And we also got to work in the caverns by helping to clean them up in preparation for the new tourist season.
Hi, I'm Logan. One of the parks we worked at for our second park in Montana was Salmon Lake State Park. It was our first time tent camping as a team, and there we tore down a bridge over a riparian area and then helped to build a new one. When we built this bridge, we had to first brush out a lot of the willows around the riparian area of the swamp, and then we hauled down all the new timber to make the new bridge. And then we tore out the old bridge and we hauled all of the old timber up the steep hill. The purpose of this bridge is to be used to connect the campground of the Salmon Lake to the day use area of Salmon Lake. And the old bridge lasted about 20 years and the new one should last 30 to 40 years.
While working at Logan State Park and Thompson Chain of Lakes, we mainly focused on cleaning up the campgrounds after the Forest Service came in and chopped up a bunch of limbs. This is to make sure that the campgrounds were nice and beautiful for the campgoers, and also to make sure that if any wildfires came through, that they are up to regulation, making sure that the wildfire spread was less likely. For Logan State Parks, we cleared about 37 acres of campground. We are also working at Thompson Chain of Lakes to remove a bunch of brush and debris that was getting way too close to any power lines. If any of that debris had run into a power line, it potentially was a wildfire risk and also would cause a power outage across the area. For Thompson Chain of Lakes, we did brush work for about a mile down a service road. We also worked at Big Arm and Wayfarers. There, we constructed picnic tables after staining each individual piece. We did about 30 of these picnic tables and replaced the old ones, which were covered in all sorts of graffiti, scratch marks, and were just generally falling apart.
I really liked Makoshika Park. It was probably my favorite campsite that we stayed at while we were in Montana. We each had our own cabin, which was awesome. I had my own, Amy had her own, everyone had their own cabin. It was great. There were rabbits all over the place. There would be a rabbit outside of my cabin just hanging out, and I used to appreciate that. We did a lot at Makoshika. We built a cabin. We built a pergola for the senior center in town. We did that because it was the senior center and we just wanted to help out as best as we could. We also worked the Buzzer Day, which is a big run that Makoshika State Park hosts every year. I got to work a table to help Makoshika State Park grow. I also participated in the cornhole tournament and placed third, which was pretty nice. We also worked on a trail called Buccaneer Trail, which is about 1.5 miles long. We also painted the cabin red. It was already red, we just retouched it. It turned out great. We woke up really early in the morning around 7, and we got done around 1. Hot as heck at Makoshika, very hot. Sunscreen recommended, as well as hats. Dinners were really nice. I love Makoshika.
Hi, I'm Sophie Gottschall with Purple 2. We're currently serving with Montana State Parks in Montana. So right now we are working at Cooney State Park and Pictograph Caves. We spent the first part of our time here working at Pictograph, where we built 100 feet of trail from scratch. First we put down the rock, and then we put down more dirt, and then we put on this weed protector, and then gravel. It took forever. We built that because there was a massive rock slide at Pictograph Caves. It was crazy. Nobody was hurt, except for maybe a cattle or two. It was bad. Hundreds of yards of trail decimated by this rock slide. We had to fix it, and we did it. We fixed it. Now, we're working at Cooney State Park, living out of these lovely shelters. Pan to shelter. Perfect. Now go. Okay. Currently, we're working on a trail that goes up to the Vista Point on top of Zoom In Mountainside. Well, God, cameraman. Okay, so currently, we did like 2 miles of trail work. Raw cutting, dirt, moving the earth. People everywhere can enjoy what the work that we've contributed to Montana State Parks in eastern Montana Region 5.
This round, Purple 2 was sent to Montana to work with Montana State Parks. When we first learned about this project, it was very scary for everyone. We weren't in the mindset to go camping and kind of move around as much as it said we would. And over the course of the last couple of months, we've moved to 12 different state parks. And what seemed like a very scary, very big challenge for people on the team ended up being a really good experience. We got to see parts of Montana that we would have never seen had we not gotten this project. And we got to get our foot in the door with Montana State Parks having their first NCCC team. I just really have loved how community-oriented this project has been. One of our favorite parks to work at was at Makoshika State Park. We were invited to a cattle branding, which is something that most outsiders never get to do. And there we helped brand and vaccinate over 300 cattle, which was really cool. So I've really enjoyed my time here in Montana, and I've really enjoyed seeing the team explore all the different parts of Montana and overcome that scary feeling and enjoy what the program had to offer.
Some of the challenges we included this round was moving around so much. Even though it let us see a lot of the state, the constant movement never let us settle in any one place. We worked around it, we got through it, but it had its ups and downs. Along with that, we had so many different sponsors that we met at different parks that we went to, which made it a little bit difficult to have clear direction on exactly what we were working on. But at the same time, it was good because we never got stuck in one place for too long, and we never got bored of our work. Also, because it was our third round of AmeriCorps of our term, most people are getting in the gear of what they're going to be doing for their next year. And it was a little bit difficult to do that all the time because most places we live in Montana, we've had little or no cell service or Wi-Fi, so it made it a little bit difficult for us to make those plans happen. But we figured it out for the most part. We've gone to libraries and coffee shops that have Wi-Fi to make these plans for each other.
During our time with Montana State Parks, we've had the opportunity to prove ourselves time and time again with each of the parks that we have had the opportunity to work with. And during our time, we did a range of work and met a range of people who were always quick to tell us how much they appreciated our work, how much they appreciated us, and even willing to act as recommendations for us for any potential job to seek in the future with any kind of state park organization or just with the federal government. We also learned valuable life skills from some of them. They were very quick to give us, their take on life, tell us their life story, and I feel like it was just an overall good experience for us.
If you come to Montana, I highly recommend La Hood Steakhouse and Lewis and Clark Caverns. Great joint with really good steak. If you come to Montana, definitely get steak. We had a vegetarian on the team who decided to eat meat during this round, and she could not be more happy with the choice that she made, because as we know, Montana has a lot of cattle, so you definitely want to eat as much meat. There's just a surplus. It's really good. I'd recommend it to you if you do come to Montana. Try some steak. I'd also recommend, as I said, sunscreen and hats.